You're listening to She's the Business podcast, and today we're going to uncover what I call the low-hanging fruit that already exists in your business. I've called this episode The Hidden Profits in Your Pricing because that's where we're going to go hunting for this low-hanging fruit. Before we get into this, hello, I'm Jessica Osborne, the host of She's the Business podcast. I have over 25 years experience now in business and marketing strategy and over 15 years in entrepreneurship, running my own two small businesses from home while I've been raising my kids. I created this show bringing you a weekly episode along with special guests that I invite on to share with you business strategies, mindset shifts, physical health, spirituality, energetics, really everything that goes into helping you succeed as the owner of your own business and of your own life and destiny. So you can call this your weekly dose of motivation and inspiration made by women for women just like you. So let's get into the episode now. Alrighty, so today we're going to have a quick chat about where you can find additional profit in what you're already doing in your business. Now, most people are under the impression that in order to make more money, then they need to bring in more clients, more business, which sometimes can be the case, of course. That is one way that you can do it, but it's not the only way. And often the low-hanging fruit, the easiest way is to look at what you're already doing. And more often than not, there are profits hidden in your existing offerings, in the way that you are structuring them, in how you're offering them, and some little tweaks that may not even seem to be that big can have huge, huge results. So let's have a chat about what are these things that you could do? Where are the profits hidden in your current business model? Let's have a chat, of course, about your pricing first and foremost. It feels really normal. A lot of people come to me and say, well, where I'm pricing it at, that is really the going rate. I can't change it. They feel very locked in and constricted around it. And that's fine. It's usually because of the way that they're currently perceiving it. And usually that's because your market might have always just done something in a specific way. I remember one of my clients many years ago, her industry, they used to kind of charge by the minute. Now, can you imagine when you're charging by the minute, there doesn't feel like there's a lot of leeway. There's no wiggle room in that because a minute is just a minute. But one of the massive transformational changes that we did with her business was to actually reimagine her service offering in a completely new way, as in she's still offering the same thing, but the way in which she offered it and the way in which she priced it was so different that she hit her annual revenue target within 90 days. So in just 3 months, she'd already made more than her goal for the entire year. And she had 9 more months to go. And that was only just the beginning. Like it was literally just taking off. So you can just imagine how significant that was for her. So I'm about to share with you the 3 most simple, basic ways that you can look for hidden profits right now in your business. So the first one in your offering is looking at the time frame in which you are offering your service. So I gave you a really great example just then. How long is, how are you pricing it, and by what time capsule, shall we call it? So whether it's a minute, an hour, a week, a day, maybe a month, maybe a year, there's many different time frames that you can apply to something. What I find when people feel most stuck, when they feel like they are not able to break through this income ceiling, they're at capacity and they're just plateaued with earnings, is that their time frame perception of how they charge is on the small side. Now, I know most people don't charge by the minute. Maybe lawyers do, voice artists, that's the other one. But a lot of people charge by the hour. Okay, and that is a small timescale on the whole spectrum of different service offerings and the timeframes that you can have. It's very small. When you're charging by the hour, can you imagine the difference when someone is reviewing this and thinking about, okay, what's the value that I'm getting? When you're thinking in terms of 1 hour, there is really 1 hour's worth of value to be had there, which of course is not the ultimate, the limit of what it is that you can do, but people are perceiving it on the basis of an hour because that's the way that you're pricing and charging your service. So when you expand the time frame, expand it out, how far can you go? And I think you'll find what's really interesting, even without changing your hourly rate, without changing your price per se, if you expand that out, you might start to feel like, wow, this actually feels very cheap. Actually, when I look at it from a monthly basis, when I look at it on a 3-monthly basis, or even a 6-month basis, suddenly this doesn't seem like very much at all. And so you might find actually simply by shifting and changing the time frame, expanding the time frame, that you do have some wiggle room in the market. You are able to raise your prices to a place where you know is far more comparable for the amount of value that you're really providing. So that's number one, expanding the time frame. Love this one. So simple and easy to do, and really, really powerful, because you often find there is expansion possibility even without really changing anything. The second one is to look at the expansion of your delivery. So once again, you may have a service that you're providing, and when your time frame is small, as we just talked about, when it's in the minutes versus hours or days type of rate, there is really only so much that you can do in that amount of time. But what you can do in a week is obviously far more than what you can do in an hour. I know that there's sayings around this where people will say, people often underestimate what they can do in a day. Oh, hang on, am I saying that right in the wrong way? They overestimate what they can do in a day, but can vastly underestimate what they can do in a week, a month, definitely once you start getting into a quarter. So 3 months, people really underestimate what can be done in that time frame. So think about it like that in terms of your offering as well. Are you placing on it a really short time frame so that the value that you can provide in that time is fairly minimal, meaning like where there's low value being communicated, then it goes alongside lower prices, right? People pay for value. And when you expand that time frame, when you think about your offering on a greater scale of time, then the value and the scope of what you're doing can also expand. So think about it for a minute. If this is you, if you're somebody who does charge by the hour, if you stop thinking based on an hour and start thinking based on a month, well, what is it that you really are able to provide over a month? Does anyone actually just want to work with you for a month? Or if they sign on, would they work with you for multiple months? So what is the outcome? What's the value that you can provide over that scope of time? When you rethink about it, change your perspective on it, you may see that there are hidden profits in just simply expanding your delivery timeframe and the value that's hidden within that. And therefore, your pricing can obviously be reflective of that outcome and value. Now, the third way that I love to help people make a small shift that can have huge impact and results is in your payment format as well. So when you think about how people pay, and obviously this is, again, a lot of the psychology around the way you're pricing your services and the way people are perceiving, wow, does this sound like I'm getting a great deal? Does this sound like a no-brainer offer, which is always where we want to be? The way in which you're offering it can also have a shift. So if you take for instance, the person who might be doing your hourly rate, and maybe you're invoicing on a weekly basis, and then you've expanded the time frame, you've expanded the scope, and now you're looking at that 6-month format. It doesn't mean that you still need to charge it in the same way, right? You can, for example, have an offering where somebody's signing up for a 6 or 12-month contract. And there are many different ways now that you can think about what is the payment format that they could have over that scope of time. Once you get people out of the minutiae, out of their sort of day-to-day where it feels like a lot on a per hour basis or a per day basis, and expand that out to a greater amount of time, you'll find that it's far more digestible. People think about it and think, yeah, absolutely. Wow, for a whole year of support and it's only this amount, it feels so much more manageable. Even then, if you break it down to be a monthly payment plan, which you can absolutely do, it's interesting how just representing your pricing in a totally different way can have a huge impact on your sales. Easier conversions mean less time for you spent on sales and marketing. So have a think about that. Where are you today? How you're pricing your offers, how you're presenting them, the way in which you are selling what it is that you do. Have you been able to identify some areas where you may have some hidden profit that is sitting, literally waiting for you to tap into, with a slight shift in how you're presenting your offers to your clients? If yes, let me know. I'd love to hear back from you. What is it that you've discovered? What do you want to do? And how would you make that shift? Are you struggling to find quality clients these days? Well, in this world of instant gratification and abundance of AI-produced content, it may be feeling harder than ever to attract the sort of clients who really value your expertise, are ready to show up, ready to commit and invest in getting the results that they actually want. But it's not just about guessing, and it's not about just creating more content hoping that something sticks. There is some specific things that you can do and need to have in your business in order to attract those sort of clients. And I'm sharing them with you in my training, my free training called The Magnetic Formula. So go and grab yourself a seat for this free class and let me show you what are these 5 key things you need to have in your business so that you end up with a stream of committed, high quality clients who are ready to invest, who help you have a very thriving, flourishing business that earns you over 6 figures a year, and you do it all in very easy part-time hours. Head over to jessicaosborne.com/TMF or drop below into the show notes, click on the link and grab yourself a seat for this free training while it still exists. I'll see you there.